This is Kat Kerr on the right. If you're unfamiliar, she claims to be a prophet of God. She prophesies for God, gives you information that God wants the world to have. You may know her because she got famous a while back for ordering a hurricane to leave this area or whatever. And of course, she failed miserably because the hurricane did a ton of damage. Here you go. This is from 2019, late August 2019.
So right now, at this moment, we take authority over Dorian that has no right off the coast of this state or anywhere. And we hit that storm to the east right now. And I'm going to do it 3 times.
So anyway, yeah, that's what she's probably most famous for. This went viral back then. But nobody really followed up with her. So I wanted to watch some of the crazier stuff she had to say recently. She went on a hiatus or a sabbatical, or I don't know what you'd call it. And she's back. So let's listen to her talk about her crazy nonsense, because it is about as entertaining as it gets. And she's on the show of this guy, Steve Schultz. He owns the Elijah List. He believes that he hosts prophets and only prophets of God.
Do you hate the devil, or do you how do you nurture the right attitude regarding the devil?
You know what God says about the devil?
Because she knows God personally, of course. She goes to heaven regularly herself and chats with him. I'm not joking. She really says this. So she knows better than anybody how God feels about, the devil or whatever other thing, because she has a personal relationship with him, physically, literally. And she says, I've even snapped a picture of a demon with a real camera going over my house before, but I just don't want to show it right now is all.
He's dumber than dumb, which makes him stupid. These are actual things he said to me in person. And he said that he despises evil. And the Father looked at me and said, it's perfectly okay to despise evil. And that would be the devil.
So hate is justified when it's somebody that you believe to be evil, basically, is the bottom line here, right? Am I reading this correctly?
Okay.
So I do despise him. He is not to be worshipped. He is not to be felt sorry for. Nobody can get him saved. No society can start and think we're going to get the devil saved. It's all going to be okay. It'll all change everything. It won't change.
Yeah.
You know why the devil doesn't want to change? He wants to kill everybody. He doesn't want anything good anywhere. Nothing he creates is good. He doesn't know how to create good. He can only create iniquity and evil. It was found in him. So no, you can despise the devil. He is evil, and evil destroys. And so
I knew a guy, Kat, this is just like 4 years ago, more like 4 years ago. And he began to say, and then people, if I said his name, people would recognize, a lot of people would recognize, I'm not going to say it, but he began to.
Well, come on, say it. Tell us. Who is it? Who are you talking about? Spill the tea. I want to know. I want some dirt on some people.
Tell me how that the fires of hell were to purify all evil, including the devil. And then after it was done purified, then he'd be saved like the rest of us. And that.
Okay, I've never heard that before. That's interesting. Well, let me tell you part of Christian theology that these people believe that they don't even realize that they believe. Hell does not exist right now, okay? Hell is somewhere that Satan will be going after he's roaming the earth or whatever. Satan is on earth right now, roaming it. This is a really hard trick to pull off. The Turtipod, if you let it get into defense mode and then you use Confuse on it, then it won't be able to, it won't make any moves, and you can just use whatever you want. You can do whatever you want to it, and just you can basically let the game run all day and all night, and you can catch a whole bunch of stuff, because in the old game it used to have a little thing that you plug into the memory card slot on the original PlayStation, and you'd play a little Chocobo game, but we don't have that now. So the Switch version gave you all these special items that are available only in this one specific thing by playing this Chocobo game. They give you access to this by having Rhinoa's dog search. So I'm going to attack it, and I'm going to try to get it to enter defense mode. I'm going to attack it with really weak people here. Scan. Let's see how much it's got going on. Give me a second. I'm just trying to get this to work just right. Let's see. If I get it to work, then I'm going to leave it running all night. Okay, it's got 3,600 damage, so I can hit it a bunch. That's good. Oh, it's in defense mode. There. And I do almost no damage to it. Perfect. Okay. Now I use Confuse on it, and now I sit here and wait. That's it. Now it can't attack. Now it can't get out of defense mode. It can't do anything. And I do triple speed on it and set the controller aside. And every 5 minutes or so, Rhinoa's dog will come along and find a unique, valuable item. It finds all kinds of cool stuff. So, yeah, let's just... Yeah, here you go. It's searching. And it gave me a hero. That's kind of a useful item, right? I mean, if you know this game, it's pretty useful. It's a very rare item in this game. But you can get literally any item. Literally any item. Ribbons, Rosetta Stones, whatever. So I'm just going to let this game play in the corner. And I'm actually going to run this switch all night. I'm going to keep it open and on and running all night long. Exactly in this spot. So I'm just going to put it in the corner and we'll continue talking about Cat. I don't even remember what I was saying about Cat. Oh, Christians actually believe, this is something Cat and Steve Schultz probably forgot about, or Christians commonly forget about. Christians believe that hell does not exist yet. They believe that Satan is roaming the earth, causing problems for people, basically. At the end of this era, when Armageddon starts, there's going to be a war between God and Satan. That's the belief. And Satan is going to lose. That's apparently like something that's just gonna happen. Like, I don't know how they've come to that conclusion, but okay. I mean, if there's going to be a war, then why would Satan even fight in it? You know what? Not going to poke more holes than there already are. And after Satan loses the war, he's going to be tossed into a newly created hell that does not exist right now, but will exist when he loses the war. And anybody who sided with Satan or did anything wrong or whatever is going to hell at that point. Otherwise, they're in purgatory in Catholic belief, but that's Catholics specifically. Anyways, that's what most Christians are supposed to believe. That's what they do believe. They just forget that, and they think that hell exists right now, and they'll say stuff like, son, I think your mom is in hell right now, and stuff. Or the Church of the Nazarene will forget that that's what they believe, and they'll say, yeah, Jesus, when he died, he went and stole the keys of hell from the devil for 3 days and blah, 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 whatever. It's just like they don't even follow or think about their own doctrine.
That the fires of hell were to purify all evil.
Okay, so Steve Schultz is giving us a new belief here, a new take on hell and what it means and everything else. And I guess Kat Kerr is going to give her thoughts on it too. So let's hear the take on hell.
Recognize, a lot of people would recognize, I'm not going to say it, but he began to tell me how that the fires of hell were to purify all evil, including the devil. And then after it was done...
Oh, Kat Kerr's shaking her head. I guess she disagrees. See, Angelo's searching again. There you go. What did I get this time? I got another potion. Potion plus.
Purified, then he'd be saved like the rest of us. And that ended my relationship with him because I wasn't going there. It's not what the scripture says.
That's not going to ever happen, people.
Yeah.
He says, that's not what the scriptures say. Suddenly you care about the scriptures? What? He hasn't cared about what the Bible said this entire time, and now he does. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
God isn't letting the devil into the new earth. He's not going to let him into the new heavens.
Well, the Bible says that he's going to create a new heaven and a new earth, and he's going to allow Satan to roam around for 1,000 years or something, and then he's going to throw him into the pit. I don't even know. Look, the problem is I'm from Jehovah's Witnesses. That's their belief. I don't know if that's standard Christianity belief or not.
Yeah.
No one who is wicked or evil or who has given themselves to the devil will be anywhere around all the rest of us. They'll never escape. But guys, the destiny they have is called the lake of fire. And that's where they will be. And they will be given.
You know what's interesting about the lake of fire? It was actually mentioned in the book of Revelation, which doesn't even really belong in the Bible. It was about Nero. Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus was his name, apparently. Nero was his nickname. His name was actually Neron, though. And that's why different versions of the book of Revelation have different numbers, because the numbers 666 and 616 were gematrias, where you know, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, so on and so forth. And you add all those numbers up to get a final number. QAnon does this all the time. Evil, the word evil, if you add all those numbers up, adds up to 48. And they call themselves, this QAnon group, they call themselves negative 48. They're the opposite of evil, right? That's the idea. So the book of Revelation added up Emperor Nero, I don't know if he's a Caesar, emperor, or what. They added up the letters in his name in a gematria, and it added up to 666. But his nickname, Nero, instead of his full name, Neron, Caesar Neron, whatever, added up to 616. That's why different translations have different values. And it was simply supposed to be a way of castigating and zeroing in on this one person and making it obvious who it was to everybody who needed to know, but not obvious enough that they can be thrown in jail for saying it, right? Because a gematria can be anybody. Anyway, just ridiculous. The lake of fire was in the book of Revelation, and it was a genre of writing called apocalyptic genre, similar to romance or fantasy or sci-fi or whatever. It was its own genre at the time, apocalyptic. And it was framed in an apocalyptic way. So yeah, there's a lot of apocalyptic stuff in it about the lake of fire and everything. Did not mean what she thinks it meant, but okay.
They'll never escape. But guys, the destiny they have is called the lake of fire. And that's where they will be. And they will be given, God will have them come before his own throne. We won't be there, okay? That's the judgment of the wicked. That's the great white throne judgment. We won't be at that judgment.
Okay.
Everybody wicked person will be taken out of hell. And one by one, they will go before the throne of God. And he will show them where their name was taken out of the Lamb's Book of Life. It was never written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And then he will show every single sin they committed. And everyone who's there will know what everybody did.
Dude, like, none of this stuff that she's talking about right now is biblical. All the stuff that she just said, practically everything, is all ass backwards and does not match up with reality. It doesn't match up with what the Bible says at all. And suddenly this guy doesn't care. Suddenly he's willing to, like, listen to what she has to say. But he 86'd the other guy because he said something unbiblical? Really?
And then they will be thrown in the lake of fire. That is their final thing that they will do. So you're not going to escape, people. And you're not making a wise decision for you, or especially even for your family if you love them. My heart goes out to the families who don't side with the left. You know, they don't side with the evil. They don't want nothing to do with that. And yet they're members of that family. I'm sure that they pray, always pray for your families. But I'm telling you, don't waste your time to pray for the devil. It's just not going to work.
Okay, did anybody try praying for the devil? He was saying that Satan will be purified through fire, basically. That was the claim by the prophet he had on or whatever. No one said you should be praying for the devil. See, now Angelo's search got me a high potion plus.
And he'll laugh at you if you do that anyway. He wants to bring destruction to you. And so I would say the blood of the Lamb is stronger than anything in existence. The name of Jesus Christ is more powerful than any other name in existence. And I can tell you what, Hell is terrified of him because on the third day he wasted them, melted the faces of the hierarchy of hell, stripped every gemstone up of Satan, took the keys of hell, death, and the grave.
Oh, that's fascinating. So she's actually giving us Church of the Nazarene beliefs. So she believes that hell does exist right now, and Satan is not roaming the earth right now. She believes that Satan runs hell, and when Jesus died, he went to hell to take the keys from him or whatever, and now he has the keys and he took the gemstones off of him or whatever other thing. Right? Ooh, that's really interesting.
Terrified of him because on the third day he wasted them, melted the faces of the hierarchy of hell, stripped every gemstone up of Satan, took the keys of hell, death, and the grave, and he has all of that right now. Christ has it. They remember what it was like when he was in. They couldn't wait to get him out of there.
You know what I find interesting about the situation? The Son of Man, as described in the Old Testament, is supposed to be the Messiah. They call him the Son of Man. And the Son of Man is supposed to take political control of Israel and then spark Armageddon into being. And there were a whole bunch of other prophecies from minor prophets, the 12 minor prophets, about the Son of Man and what he would do. He'd ride in on a donkey, ride into town on a donkey. You know, I'm talking minor prophets like Zechariah, Zephaniah, Malachi, Jonah, and blah, 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 all those people. They had some prophecies about the Son of Man. Well, the book of Mark was the first book ever written about Jesus. And it was 60 years after his death, I think, maybe, when it was written. And all through the book of Mark, if you notice, if you read the actual text and you use like the interlinear version of the Bible, which is like a word-for-word translation, exact word-for-word translation, you'll find that Jesus did not believe himself to be the Son of Man. And when people said to him, "Are you the Son of Man?" he would dodge the question. He'd say, "Well, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the subject?" You know, that kind of thing. That's what Jesus would do. But they changed. When I say they, I mean the Christians of the time who were writing the Gospels. Matthew and Luke came next, and then John was written about 30 years after that. The Christians who were writing the Bible books at the time tweaked it and changed it a little bit to make it so that Jesus came out. They changed the wording. Instead of Jesus dodging the question, he said, "I am the Son of Man," for example. John was really, really theological. Even Jesus didn't believe himself to be the Son of Man or the Son of God or, you know, God himself or anything. But the book of John, written, I don't know, 80 years after Jesus' death, someone there, 80, 90 years after he died, the book of John espouses the idea of the Trinity. Even though none of that was espoused in any of the other parts of the Gospels, even Jesus didn't believe it. So anyways, Jews, current Jews, I guess, are still waiting for some guy to ride into town on a donkey, the way that the old minor prophets said, and take political control of Israel and spark Armageddon. I guess that's the plan currently for the Jews. Weird. Anyways, when Jesus is on the cross, he said, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Which makes sense because he wasn't supposed to die. He was supposed to take political control of Israel. If he was really the Messiah, like people believed him to be, him dying on a cross makes no sense at all. And his, people, his little, his guys, his little apostles and disciples and whatever you want to call them, they recognize that. They're like, what the hell is happening right now? He can't die. This doesn't make any sense. So they said, he'll be back. He'll be back. You just wait and see. He's coming. And when he comes, he's going to be mad. And he's going to take political control of Israel. And then he's going to spark Armageddon. You just wait and see. And when he came back, supposedly. He didn't do any of that stuff. And now we're waiting for him to come back again and take political control of Israel as Christians and spark Armageddon. That's what we're waiting for. Well, people in Jesus' time believed he was going to fulfill that role, come back to life, come back to earth, and become the president of Israel or whatever, and spark Armageddon. They thought it was going to happen in their lifetimes. And here we are, 2,000 years later, and nothing. Why did Jesus say, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Because he knew full well it made no sense for him to die in that moment if he were the Messiah. He believed in that moment when he was dying that God had ordained him as the Messiah, but then decided that he wasn't going to be the Messiah and was going to pick somebody else later. That's why Jesus said that, in my opinion. And now Kat Kerr is coming up with this big, complex story. Well, she's not coming up with it. This is believed by the Church of the Nazarene, a weird little cult that exists, in my opinion, that I've only talked about like once on my channel. They have some real weird beliefs. But anyway, they have this specific belief that she's outlining here. When Jesus died, he went to hell, stole the keys from the devil, and got out and whatever, went to heaven and all that other stuff. That was the Church of the Nazarenes' belief. And now I guess Kat Kerr believes it too.
The keys of hell, death, and the grave, and he has all of that right now. Christ has it. They remember what it was like when he was in. They couldn't wait to get him out of there.
So Jesus wouldn't have been able to come back on Easter Sunday if he hadn't managed to steal the keys from the devil. That's the belief. That's how he came back to life. He stole the keys from him and came back. Came out of hell, rose up out of the grave or whatever. And now has the full ability to bring people back to life, even though he apparently had that ability before because he did it to Lazarus. Anyway.
He had nothing to do with them getting him out. He went out himself when he was ready. And I can tell you what, right now, I've been before the mercy seat and saw his blood poured out. I know how powerful that is. I know.
Remember, she believes she's been to heaven and met Jesus personally and God and everybody else, whatever. She believes this stuff. She believes she touched God's hair and painted a portrait of him and everything else. Physically, her.
Now how powerful is to stand before the throne of God and see his eyes, flames of fire, sitting on his throne with the rainbow moving out like the northern lights in and out of him. I can't wait to go to Alaska, people. I'll be in Alaska. I'm doing an Alaska cruise next September, and I'm praying we'll get to see the northern lights because that's exactly what that rainbow looks like coming in and out of him.
Well, she's describing God. She's seen him with her own eyes. I thought the Bible said, if you see God with your eyes, you will go blind. Doesn't the Bible say that? What happened to that? This is absolute nonsense from beginning to end. It's so easy to poke holes in this, and I love it to death. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I am deeply entertained by Kat Kerr's nutter buttery and her lack of cohesion between different belief systems that she seems to hold. Simultaneous belief systems. Tell me what you think. All right, I'm going to end it here, actually, because I forgot I have a doctor's appointment. That's what my Alexa just reminded me of. Can someone explain why she has pink hair? She's having an end-of-life crisis? Damn, I wish you hadn't asked me that, because now I have to tell you. Now I have to give you the answer. I don't have time to give the answer. I'm going to anyways, because it's so entertaining. Let's see. Let me find it. Kat Kerr hasn't always been famous, to answer your question. She started out her ministry with this video. This is like the very first one I ever found from her, and it was from April 2008. Just listen for a few seconds, and she tells you why her hair is pink.
This is Kat Kerr of Revealing Heaven, and I have to tell you about this revelation.
Please.
You know what? Heaven is the most fun place you'll ever live in your life. Did you ever think of that? Most people, and including the world, think heaven is going to be so boring. They don't even want to go there. Most believers actually say, what in the world am I going to do for eternity? What is it going to do up there besides bowing to God and maybe singing some songs with the choirs in heaven, sitting on a cloud with a harp? Guess what? You don't get a harp when you go to heaven unless you already play one.
Okay, I get it. Heaven is actually a lot of fun, and it's not boring. Well, guess what? Some people like boring. So maybe don't spread that idea to everybody you know next time.
You know, maybe if you want one to decorate your mansion, you might give you one.
Your mansion, she says. Decorate your mansion. There are mansions in heaven.
But what are you going to do with it anyway? The reason my hair is pink, by the way, I forget
Here you go. This is the answer. Ready?
that a lot. God himself asked me to have pink hair for the reason that you will know heaven is going to be a whole lot more different than we thought it was.
So she wants to give you the impression that she is a fun person to be around by dyeing her hair pink, because God told her to, as part of her mission, to explain to everybody that heaven is not what everybody thinks it's going to be. Heaven is going to be a lot of fun, actually. There's your answer. Jace Love, thank you for the question. Really good question.
The northern lights in and out of him. I can't wait to do with them getting him out. He went out himself when he was ready. And I can tell you what, right now, I've been before the mercy seat and saw his blood poured out. I know how powerful that is. I know how powerful it is to stand before the throne of God and see his eyes, flames of fire, sitting on his throne with the rainbow moving out like the northern lights in and out of him. I can't wait to go to Alaska, people.
Dude, what the hell is she going on about right now? She telling us that she looked into Jesus' eyes and it was pure fire or some other thing, like the northern lights? Well, the northern lights aren't fire. But she's excited to see the northern lights? Like, what?
I'm doing Alaska. I'm doing an Alaska cruise next September, and I'm praying we'll get to see the northern lights, because that's exactly what that rainbow looks like coming in and out of him.
Wow.
Oh, there's a rainbow coming in and out of God, apparently, that has some kind of it looks like northern lights or something. This is crazy, dude.
I tell you, I've spent a lot of time. Not that I'm special than anyone else. I happen to obey a lot, whatever he wants me to do. But I can tell you, other people have seen the face of God. And I know people, precious people, who think no one has seen it. Even though John, in the book of John, said you can't see the face of God and live. In the book of Revelation, he said, I was caught up. A door opened, he heard a voice come up. He went up and saw the Father sitting on the throne with the rainbow coming in and out of him. The very one who said you can't see his face saw his face.
Coming in and out of him. Coming in and out of where, I have to wonder. Where was the rainbow coming from, Kat? I need to know. Somebody please tell me. Tell me the rainbow wasn't coming from somewhere uncomfortable, please.
While he was still living on the earth. So yes, he did see him. And so many others have seen the Father. You can't say that if he wishes for you to see him, that you can't see him.
This is fascinating. So Kat Kerr, if you haven't caught on to this, she is saying that tons and tons of people see God on a regular basis, including but not limited to her. Even though the Bible explicitly and specifically says nobody can see God or they will go blind, right? Or something to that effect. Isn't it weird how she just directly contradicts the Bible completely and pretends that like she never or that she knows this stuff because it was shown to her by God or whatever? Is that bizarre to anybody else?
I'm born again, okay? My soul is pure. I'm a believer, okay? I am for all eternity going to be with them. That is my choice I've made. I choose to live holy. You may say you can't live holy. Then why does he say, be ye holy as I'm holy?
I mean, that's a good question, obviously.
Why does he say,
I'm sorry, what?
that is my choice I've made. I choose to live holy. You may say you can't live holy. Then why does he say, be ye holy as I'm holy?
Be ye holy as I'm holy. Okay, so let me explain. There's a little bit of, hang on. I have a clip here. Let me find it. Hang on. So she's saying, be ye holy like I'm holy. It seems innocuous, but what she's actually saying right now is that she does not sin. Now, that is a tall claim. To my recollection, Jesus was the only one that didn't sin, right? And the reason that he didn't sin was because, I don't know, he was something special. he had to be perfect to atone for man's sin or whatever other thing, right? This one is from October 15th, 2022.
I live sin-free. You'd be surprised how many people want to argue about that.
Yeah, because it's unbiblical. How can you possibly, unironically, sit there and tell us that you don't sin? Really? You are directly contradicting the Bible with this right now.
Well, why are you arguing? What's in your soul?
Oh, it gets even weirder here.
Who cares about your wallet? What's in your soul? If you had what's right in your soul, your wallet would be full already, people.
You catch that? If you had what was right in your soul, your wallet would be full already. I.e., you are poor because you haven't done, because you're a sinner. God would bless you with lots of money if you were holy, if you did what he wanted you to do or whatever other thing. That is insane. That's prosperity gospel, by the way. Absolutely nuts. And I can't believe that people are like just accepting this. Like, oh yeah, okay, well, she's right. She's got me there. What? Come back to reality with the rest of us, man. This is nuts. Anyways. One more clip from that era because it's funny. One more from that era. Just check this one out.
How many people just want to stay here like forever? Have you told God that?
I would love to stay here forever.
Have you told him you're okay if you don't die when you're 120 or 90 or whatever year they've got it up to right now?
Or whatever year they've got it up to? You think people are living to 120 regularly, Kat?
He's keeping some. He's keeping. He told me he won't even discuss death with me. So I just talk about life.
So she's saying she's not going to die. That's what she's telling us. She's going to live forever. Give me a break, dude. This is ridiculous.
He did show me an incident in the future where many people had died. It wasn't like from a normal war or anything. You couldn't even tell that, that they were actually dead, but they were. And I was being carried by in a military jeep. It was not in this country.
She's been carried on a military jeep. Not in this country.
Not that would matter. What was going to happen, it would be great anyway. Because I was going to raise those people from the dead.
They were bringing her to raise people from the dead. Does it get more sad than this? Does it get more disconnected from reality than this? Honestly. This is insane. Come back to reality with the rest of us, Kat. Please, I'm begging you. This is nuts. So anyway, now you have an idea of who Kat Kerr is. She believes that one day God is going to task her with staying on earth to go around resurrecting armies of God's people in a military jeep. That's insane, man.
I mean, that's a good question, obviously.
Why does he say be ye perfect as I'm perfect?
Yeah.
Because you can.
Let me step back now. Let's just listen to the whole context here one more time.
Okay, my soul is pure. I'm a believer. Okay, I am for all eternity going to be with them. That is my choice I've made. I choose to live holy. You may say you can't live holy. Then why does he say, be ye holy as I'm holy?
I mean, that's a good question, obviously.
Why does he say, be ye?
So, i.e., why does he say you need to be holy like Jesus, but people can't be perfect? Are you kidding? Do you really not understand the theology of Christianity at all? It really seems like she has no clue what the theology is.
Be perfect as I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Because you can choose it. So this went far beyond what I thought it would be, but this is what God wants me to say. And whatever he wants is what he gets from me. I belong to him. And I'm not ever going to stop saying what he says. And I will never stop traveling. I will never stop going to heaven as far as he's concerned. He's going to keep taking me until he doesn't want to take me anymore. And I can just tell you right now, he is going to have his way in this world. And there may be people that don't like that. You're not going to get to live your evil ways you want to. You can go see Satan and go live with him if you want to. But right now, you're not going to get your way in this world. This world belongs to the Lord. And the Father has plans with it, with him, to release the glory from the very bedrock of this world that was put there. It's going to be released from the ground. It's going to come from the air. It's going to flood this whole earth. And we will be carrying it around this earth. Okay, like the waters cover the sea. That's what the word says. And I'm telling you, you'll step 1 foot on the ground, it'll begin to shake, and evil will flee from whole cities.
Dude, I don't even know what's happening right now. She's telling us, is this supposed to be a prophecy she's giving us right now? I am so lost.
You want to know what's going to happen? That's what's going to happen. God's about to touch the lives, and there'll be millions of homosexuals saved in Jesus' name. There'll be millions of Muslims saved in Jesus' name, because he has said it's going to happen. And you can't stop truth. When truth starts to come, there's nothing you can do to stop it from being given by the living God. And
oh, she sounds like she's getting angry now.
The resurrected Lord, because it's their choice.
And then she just gets completely silent. This is bizarre, dude.
I hope you're ready.
Yeah, wow. Kat, I haven't asked you because you.
Is he as weirded out by this whole situation as I am? I'm like deeply disturbed by this right now. This is bizarre, right?
Mentioned going to. Do you still, like you just said it? So you I don't know. Do you go to heaven still almost every day, or how often do you get to go?
Oh yeah, she loves claiming she goes to heaven. It's absurd.
Visit.
I go a lot, and either he comes to visit me. He visits me a lot right here in my new home here.
Wow.
And or he catches me up and shows me things. Sometimes he takes me to the future and still shows me things.
She claimed that God took her to the future to show her people coming out in the streets and celebrating that Donald Trump won the election or whatever. And of course that never happened. It's completely made up all along. Big surprise, right? But yeah, so he's asking her, does God still take her to heaven sometimes and show her things? He never did, Steve. He never did.
The revelator, that's what he calls me, and he's not going to.
Oh, sorry, step back.
New home here.
Wow.
And or he catches me up and shows me things. Sometimes he takes me to the future and still shows me things. I'm still a revelator. That's what he calls me, and he's not.
She's a revelator.
Going to stop calling me that.
And for new people that maybe there's probably a bunch of new people since you were last on. And so what do I want to ask you to review maybe for them? Talk about, because people would keep writing and saying, well, what is this about roll up your rapture rug? And isn't God coming to, well, talk, you got to review that area for people who maybe are just getting to know you. What do you mean roll up your rapture rug, which is one of
Yeah, what the hell does that mean?
your favorite sayings? I mean,
It
talk
is
about,
one of your things.
yeah,
Roll your rapture rug and get your crown on is the other one.
yeah.
Okay, we
And get your crown on? Okay.
rule and reign with Christ as believers. He is the King of Kings. Those are spiritual kings who have rulership authority in the earth because of him. And his Lord of Lords are also spiritual people here on the earth, believers on the earth that have authority in certain territories on the earth to rule and make rulings as a king or as a lord. That's what that says in the Bible. It says, know ye not that ye are kings and priests unto your God. So all these things that God has shown me, he's shown me in the word. He's also shown me from his own heart what he wants. I didn't choose this. I just said yes. I was born again at age 4. I've been a seer my entire life.
A seer, of course, being somebody who sees things prophetically, who can tell that God is giving them some special information or whatever other nonsense.
What is that? Someone who sees.
It's something that's not in the Bible, by the way. The Bible never says that there will be seers who can see the future, see this or that or whatever. Do you want to know where that came from, actually? I'll tell you where that came from, theologically, the idea of a seer.
I didn't choose this. I just said yes. I was born again at age 4. I've been a seer my entire life.
So here's where it comes from, roughly. You guys remember that verse in Exodus, I think, where Moses and Aaron go to Pharaoh, and they throw their staffs on the ground, and they turn to snakes. And Pharaoh's wise men and sorcerers throw their staffs on the ground. They turn to snakes too. But Aaron and Moses' snake staffs gobble up the wise men's snake staffs, basically. The idea is God can do anything that Satan can do, except he's more powerful. So if you see a witch practicing divination or fortune telling or seeing or whatever other thing there is, you can do all of those same things, except you get your power from God rather than where witches get it from, which is Satan, as they believe. That's the basis for it. So she believes herself to be a seer because she thinks that people can see things that God, blah, 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 whatever. Just embarrassing and sad, seriously. I call them witches for Jesus. Greg Locke falls into that category too.
What is that? Someone who sees in the spirit realm. Some people see part of the time. Some people see only the dark stuff. Some people see only heaven stuff. I see both, and I see it all the time. I see it walking through the mall. I see it wherever I go. So I've operated for a long time. And I can tell you what, people are so ignorant to what they do in their lives that they open their door to hell to come and get mess them up. You don't want to do that. But what he's asking me right now is, some time ago, the Lord came to me in person. Now, the first time I actually saw
God came to her in person. Now, to my knowledge, to my recollection, you weren't allowed to see God in person. That was like against the rules or whatever, wasn't it? And your eyes would be like burned out of your head, right?
something really, I guess, fantastic. I think I was 14. I was walking in the woods near our home, asking God, would I ever do anything except help with my 14 siblings? And let me tell you, that was a big job. I'm number 3 out of all of them. And I just was asking him a question, and the heavens opened. When I said that, when I said those words to him, I saw the heavens open, angels coming up and down the stairway, just like they did in the Bible. And the Lord began to talk to me. He said, this is going to be you in the future. And he showed a picture of me years after this, I had this experience. And I was holding the whole world on my shoulders.
Oh, give me a break, dude.
And I was walking, but the wild thing was I was smiling. And I said to the Lord, does that mean I'm going to have to help take care of the whole earth? And he laughed out loud, and then he left. That was it.
Of course, I guess she's implying that, yes, she is going to have to take care of the whole earth. Is that the implication here? Just absurd, man. Absurd and embarrassing and sad. Seriously.
And so after that, it just grew more and more and more. I had encounters with him, or he would come to see me. And for almost 20 years, at one point in my life, I pursued him every night. And I
pursued him every night. Sounds hot. Like I pursued your mom every night.
I would stay up. You know, most people know I wanted to sleep 4 hours a day. I'd be up 20 hours a day. And quite a bit of that time, I was spending it with the Lord, just talking.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, this is what you do. You say, Jesus, I really want to know you more. Tonight, I'm going to go in my room at 10:30, and I'm going to sit there and wait, and I'm going to talk to you just like you're there. I'll let you know how much I love you, how excited I am about knowing you. And you know what? One day, he's going to show up because you cared enough to pursue him. Seek for me with all of your heart.
Bro, get help. This is insane.
And you will what?
Find me.
Find me. So that is what happened. And after that, then he visited me a lot, and he began to show me some things. But at one point, I don't remember when it was, 1980 or 89, one of those years, he actually came to me in person. He said, the Father and I want to have you reveal, we want to reveal heaven to this earth like we never have before. We're choosing you to do it. I didn't even know what to say.
Wait, what is it? She said that she got like a special assignment from God or something? What was the assignment?
A lot, and he began to show me some things. But at one point, I don't remember when it was, 1980 or 89, one of those years, he actually came to me in person. He said, the Father and I want to have you reveal, we want to reveal heaven to this earth like we never have before. We're choosing you to do it.
What, 1998 or 99?
So that is what happened. And after that, then he visited me a lot and he began to show me some things. But at one point, I think, I don't remember when it was, 1980 or 89.
Oh, 88 or 89. Okay, wow. So she got these instructions in 88 or 89. And by 2008, she made this ridiculous video. If you didn't see part one, I just showed a little bit of it at the very end, but this ridiculous video about her having pink hair and what heaven's about.
This is Kat Kerr of Revealing Heaven, and I have to tell you about this revelation. The reason my hair is pink, by the way, I forget that a lot, God himself asked me to have pink hair for the reason that you will know heaven is going to be a whole lot more different than we thought it was.
So anyway, that's when she started, I guess in 1988 or 89, she believes that she received the divine commissioning for her to go around the planet and tell everybody that heaven is going to be fun rather than boring. Just sad. Seriously, it's just sad that she believes all of this stuff. That she believes that she is somehow special. Somehow connected to God in a way that nobody else is. It's just painful. Let me know what you think.